Welcome to Friends. One of the projects I wanted to do for January was keeping Christmas alive. And I wanted to do type of an advent calendar for the 12 months of the year. So I sat down with my paper and my pencil and I brainstormed. What do I want to focus on? So I thought, okay, I'd like something that these ornaments would almost be framed. So I came up with the idea of using, say, almost like an oversized placemat with the lovely corners as the foundation for the project. And then there are 12 months of the year, so having 4 on each, 3 rows of 4, which would give me 12. So I decided, okay, that sounds great, but what size? So I thought, okay, let's get out a bunch of Christmas ornaments. And I came to the idea that most of what I would like to do is approximately a 4-inch ornament. So you don't want it overcrowded, you want it simple. So I decided, okay, what I would do is I would have each of the squares of the months at 6 inches. The underneath fabric that you want to use to bring forward to make it look like that table mat is almost like a mitered corner effect. So what I did was I thought, okay, well, I'll add another 3 inches to all 4 sides, and then that could fold in as the corners. So I thought, okay, well, that sounds pretty good. So that was all good on paper. So then the next thing I did was, okay, let's take that idea to the actual using measuring tape. So I added some more spaces around the outer edges to give it a wider margin on the mitered corners. So I filled around with that and thought, okay, that sounds like a pretty good idea. That's what I'm gonna model this project on, is that placemat effect with the very pale palette for the inside for the 12 months, the blocks of 6 inches each. And then that was fine with that. So then I decided, okay, fabrics. Now I want something, because again, the whole focus is on the ornament. And originally I had thought, okay, I'm going to use an old tablecloth that I've had for years. And it's a really good sturdy cotton, so it would work out really well. It'd be nice and flat and give the thickness that I would need. But I kind of looked at it and I thought, no, it's too flashy and it would take away from the actual ornaments. So I wanted something a little bit more subtle, and I will use this on many other projects. One, learning how to do that edging from my serger on napkins. So I thought, okay, what other colors? And I mostly, when it comes to me for Christmas, it's green, red, and white, gold, and silvers. So I thought, okay, well, I've got this fabric, which is got some glitter in it, and it's a ho-ho fabric. I've had it for many, many years, but it's a little bit more flimsy. So I thought, okay, that would work. And then if I use just a basic white cotton, that would be the center of the project for the ornaments. And then I could do my mitered corners and maybe use a little bit of ribbon or satin fabric to sort of frame in the centerpiece. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with this one and not the tablecloth. So then I thought, okay, this is going to have to be definitely prepped. So what I thought I would do is I used fused woven cotton interlining for the inside. And I cut it, I think it was about 34 inches wide. And then again, I think it worked out to be about 28 inches long. So just I took the 24 base and then added 3 inches on all 4 corners. So then I thought, okay, that's the backing. I would use the really good interwoven fusible. And then I used just a very basic good white cotton for the insert. But what I used to for that one, because I wanted it a little bit more body, is I used the fusible fleece, and that worked out quite well. So that was sort of the focus of getting the project sort of organized, and then getting the fabrics that I wanted to do with the project to incorporate into this whole thing. So the other thing is my usual, signature. So what I thought was, I'll cut out some of these and work on these in the evenings while I'm still planning on a little bit of what the project's going to turn out to be. Always remember that no matter what project you work on, it never turns out the way that you started. And the best part of that is it's a work in progress. So after I prepped the fabric and stabilized the fabrics, it was time to start to put them together. So I had my backing, which is of the Christmas cloth. And then for my inside piece, which my ornaments will hang on, was just the solid white cotton. So what I did was, and don't forget that I added 3 inches on all the sides. So I still have a 6-inch pocket or area on the front where my ornaments are going to go. And then, so it goes 3 across and 4 down. So there's your 12. What I then did do is, to stabilize the 2 fabrics together, I just did a decorative stitch down to demarcate where the 6-inch areas are. And I just did that with on my machine, just with a fancy stitch. Now, one of the things I found that when I had finished putting the 2 together, before I finished the actual sewing around the edges, what I did was, it was to me a little bit blah. So I took some silk material, and I cut it to 6 inches, and I ironed it in half, and then just inserted it in underneath, and then stitched it down, and then put the stitching just around, the decorative stitching around. So that was how it actually turned out. I was pleased with that. It was okay. And then when my usual signature is my hearts, and what I decided to do was, I'm going to hang this. So what I did was I took my rings, my big gold rings, and I covered them like the way I do with my napkin rings. And then what I did was I just put them on the corners, and then just actually with this one I just glued it down. So it gives me kind of a nice finished corner that will hang. And then I put my heart on the front. So I've got the 2 hearts on either side with the hangers. And then on the bottom, I'll show you what I did with the, I left this one exposed, where I did the, that nice little mitered corner. And I went online, and I watched through 3 or 4 tutorials, and I thought that this would give it a really nice, crisp finish. Now, the only problem I ran into is because of the fabric that I used, it wasn't, I had a little bit of issue when sewing around. It was a little harder to do. If I'd used the tablecloth, it would have been a little bit easier. But I think generally it turned out okay. So then, and the most important part is that the whole thing of this project is you want your ornament to be what stands out. And that's why I chose the very, white sort of palette, so that when you put your ornament on, it's going to stand right out. So for January, what I did was my son bought me one of these E-cord knitting little machines. So I thought, what best to do my first January ornament with was with this cording. So this is what I made, and this will fit onto the front. And what it is, actually I'll just push it up like so you can see it that way. So what it is the cording, and I use 2 cotton, blanket stitch threads, and put them through my little machine to make my cording colorful. And then what I did was I put my covered little rings on the front with my pom-poms, with my bows, and my little bells. And there you go. So how it goes, now I haven't decided what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to actually attach them or make them so that you can take them off and put them on the tree. But I think in my particular case, I'm going to actually attach them because I have a ton of Christmas ornaments. So the way this is going to go, is like this. So this is the first January ornament, which goes onto its little square, like so. Now that's January. So what we're going to do is I'll hold it up this way. It's hard to see. Now that's January. Now what I've got is my ornaments approximately 4 inches, which gives me about 2 inches on either side so that they're not going to be all glummed in together. So each one that I will make over the next 11 months is going to be approximately 4 inches in size. And then I can use different colors. I can use angels, Norwegian stars, all kinds of different things that you can come up with. So basically, that's what I did. Now, for storage, I thought, okay, well, you know, it's hard to put stuff away and you want things put away nice and neat. So I decided to have the squares 3 across. So then what I could do is I could just basically fold it and then fold it again for storage. So when you're going to store it, this is what it's going to look like. And then that's much easier to put into a tote. The other thing is that when you're storing it, what you could do is just put a piece of tissue across each of the ornaments to keep them safe. So I'm pleased with this. It's going to be a work in progress. There's a few things I wasn't happy with, but you know, nothing is ever perfect. So I hope you enjoyed this. With one thing I did do though, with that ribbon, putting it in underneath, that stabilized the corners of the project as well. So I'm actually quite happy with how that turned out. And then I'll have 11 months to do all kinds of little Christmas ornaments to put it together. So another memory. Thanks for watching.